Hello, my name is Austin, and I'm here today to give you guys a virtual tour. A little backstory on myself. I have been in Valerie's house for now 5 years. I started about 5 months after launch. I lost my father when I was 12, and I came to this program a year and a half later. And now I work with Valerie's house. This place has helped me so much, and I just want to give back and now show you guys what this place is all about. So right here, we have Angela's mom. This is her mom, that's Angela, and that's her little sister. Angela's mom passed away when she was 10 years old. She got into a car accident and died. So she decided to create Valerie's house. She was in journalism for a while, and she wanted to make this place because this spoke to her. Now what you'll see over here is there's the whole message, and I'll read it for you. Valerie's house is named after Valerie Melvin, a nurse and a mother of 2 who died in 1987. Our purpose is to support families and children as they share their feelings, their lives, and follow their dreams. Our mission and vision is that no child will grieve alone. That is the message behind Valerie's house and the exact reason why we need to be in this community. Now over here is probably the most impactful thing that we have. This is our memory wall. Every child that goes through this program, if they're ready, this is nothing we do is forced, they will put a picture of their loved one that they lost on the wall. Right over here actually, that's my father. And then at the center of it, we have Angela. Angela's family. So, this is a lot to take in. It is so impactful because it shows you how many people there are. Every single person has a family, and every single person can lose it. And that's what hurts, and that's why we are here. Over here is our wall of bears. They're all new, so none of them are used. Anytime a child comes in that's new, we'll have them pick out a bear. We have a couple of books, and we have more that I'll show you in a second over here. These are more of the teen ones. And we have journals like this that they can write in and start journaling about what they feel inside. Because that's what we work on at Valerie's house, is unique ways to look at grief. Instead of looking at it as this pain and suffering, you can look at it in an aspect of helping yourself and figuring out what to do next. So this is very important because this is how we reach out to the kids and get them kind of involved into Valerie's house at that first glance. As earlier I said that we have books that we'll give the kids. The ones on the bare wall are more for the teens. We have all of these as well. Up top is more for the teens, and as we go down, we'll get into the more child-friendly books. So this is another resource that we love to have because it shows you that you can look at grief in more than just a depressing, horrible state, that you can change those feelings into positive feelings. And that's what we're trying to focus at Valerie's house. Now we do have a piano over here. We have a couple more instruments. We got a harmonica and a little drum. And sometimes we'll have people play. I know one of our members, Christine, is an excellent pianist, and she'll come and play sometimes. Now this room is the safari room. It's definitely a lot. This is where our littles meet. So anywhere from 4 to 10, I believe. So I want to share some activities with you. really quickly. This one is our mask activity. Now, it correlates with this exactly. What we'll do is we'll have them paint the mask and we'll say, what do you feel or show on the outside? And as in the outside of your body, the outside emotions that you show people. And this person particularly feels worry, anger, happiness, guilt, loneliness, and I believe shock. So this one, she or he is definitely feeling a lot of different emotions on the outside. On the inside, it's a bit of gray. Usually we'll have gray as relief and loneliness, one of the two. So it all depends. We have different ones. We've got this one. I think this one's my favorite one because they didn't do it back. And I think they did this for a reason. They just feel loneliness all over the place. And it helps, activities like this help show us and guide us to seeing what we feel and thinking about it. And not just sitting down one day and just be like, oh, I feel this, I feel that. You do these activities and they show you how you feel. Sometimes you don't even think it, and then you start looking at these and you'll think, maybe I feel this. One more activity is this one. So this is a little lava lamp that we made. This was to help calm people down when they get angry. You shake it up a little bit and you just watch it all flow up and down into the top. Because we'll do activities sometimes not just to show people how they feel, but to give them almost tools to help them calm down and to help them get back into that positive mindset. Then one more. This one is one that I definitely love. We make little bracelets. Now these aren't just any ordinary bracelets that we'll put any colors on. What we'll do is we'll have a little chart. And this chart, for example, we have a red on here. We have questions on this chart that show us what beads that we should put on. This red one, for example, is, I was there when my special person died. So we'll ask the kids this when we're in group. We'll say, was anybody there when their special person died? And we'll have some of them be like, oh, I was. And what the goal was is to show that sometimes the people that you think you've only had this happen to you, and that's the only person that has happened to, was just you. It'll show that you can have similarities when it comes to death, and you can bond with people to show that there is help out there and there is luck. That maybe this kid that just got an A on their test came in today and he had the same death experience that you did, and to give people hope. So our activities that we do are, like I said earlier, to show us that we can look at grief and death in such a different way than just depression and loneliness and sadness, that we can change these emotions and put it to use to show that we don't just want to forget about a person and forget about life completely. We want to live on with them and grow to understand how to live on with them.
It's called sand tray therapy. It's been around since the 50s. It's evidence-based, but you have to be a licensed professional to use it, and there is a special certification that you can get in it, which the counselors here are working towards. We're kind of almost halfway through. So the idea is, and we have different types of sand. There's so many different types of sand. We're just starting, but we have this one, which is very powdery and solid. That's kind of regular sand, and that one over there is actually made of corn husks.
Oh, you're kidding.
Because some people don't like sand. You know, they don't like to touch it. They don't like it on them. It's called knot sand, actually, N-O-T sand. but it can be used the same way as the regular sand. So after we've developed a relationship with the child, because there has to be, the most important thing in any therapy is the trusting relationship between the counselor and the child. So once we've developed a relationship and they're comfortable with us, we'll ask them if they want to create a world in the sand. And we have, we're just starting our collection. We're trying to get something of anything you could possibly think of that someone might want to put in a sand tray. So we sit back and we let them create their world, and when they're done creating it, we ask them to tell us about it. So this is an example. We're not using anyone's real trays, of course, for confidentiality. But this little boy created the tray, and as you can see, it speaks without you even knowing the story, because you can see that there's really scary things. Mm-hmm. It's kind of all over the place, so it's kind of chaotic. He's out here with his dog because his dad has died, and his mom and his family are kind of being part of the chaos too. He doesn't feel safe, he doesn't feel protected, and all these things are coming at him. And at the same time, he feels like there's people who can help him, but how are they going to get to him? So right now he's put up.
So somebody actually created this?
Very similar, yes. We recreated it
Sure,
with our own little spin.
I got you.
But this is very representative. It's amazing what these kids will do.
So when the child, are they sitting here for like an hour?
Well, the sessions are about an hour, so depending. Some will take the whole time, some will only take, maybe half the time, and then we'll talk about it, and we'll do something else if they want to, because sometimes, especially if they've gone deep, they need to kind of come out of
So
that.
when you see them forming all this,
Mhm.
do you interact with them during it?
We sit
Ask what they're
quietly.
feeling?
If they talk to me, I would answer them, of course, but it's pretty quiet. And then at the end, what we usually say is, okay, they'll say, I'm done. They'll say, okay, is there anything you need to change? Do you want to add anything? And if they say, no, I'm fine, I'll say, well, tell me the story. Tell me about your world. And that's when the talking happens. So when they're done, we leave the world the way it is. They'll start to put things away, because we don't want them to disassemble their world. We put it away after they're gone. We take a picture of it. We keep little journals for them, because as the therapy progresses, we'll get them to revisit it and see how the tray changes.
Awesome, that is incredible.
It's
Angela
really
was
pretty
saying
incredible
that
what comes out to it.
if they were to go out and do this in a private session,
Yes.
it's like $300 or $400 if they pay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's
But
very
it's obviously-
expensive.
Like what's the general, all ages, for this
All
type of
ages.
therapy?
It's recommended for individual therapy, but you can do it with couples and families. I've done it with families, like a mom and her children who lost another child. We did a family tray. They all, came together in the one tray to do a tray about the loss of their brother, which was very powerful. Sometimes we'll have a family all do different trays, and then they can share with their
Right.
family
That's
their
so
feelings
cool.
in their tray. But it was primarily meant for an individual and in individual counseling. I'll just tell them, if you want to feel the sand, what does that feel like to you? Does it feel good? I had one little boy who all he did was this. He was like, oh, this is so satisfying.
Oh.
This is so satisfying. So he didn't actually build a tray that day, but he got a lot out just by squeezing the sand. And if they don't want to do it, they absolutely don't have to. I've never had anyone not want to do it yet, but I'm sure at some point I
So
might.
if they are engaging in the idea of
Mhm.
doing something,
Mhm.
do you tell them just tell a story that's on your mind, or
Yeah,
use
because they
the
might
figures?
say, I just say create your world, what you think what you would like your world to be like, what your world feels like to you today.
Okay, that's
Yes.
I guess that was the
Yeah,
question.
just
So what
a
do you
little-
say to them
very
to
little
prompt them
prompt,
to?
as little as we can, and then they
Okay.
usually just take it and run with it.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you can do, there's another form, this is very non-directive sand tray, and as a play therapist, my therapy is non-directive. The
Right.
child leads the play, because that's what empowers them. But there's more directive sand tray where someone might say, okay, create a world about this today, and give
Right.
them more of a prompt.
It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah,
I would have never thought in a million
I
years.
know, it's so
but yeah.
amazing, isn't it?
It's really a great thing for kids too. It's very non-confrontational and
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
choose,
Right.
and that's the most important thing in any kind of counseling with small children, is empowering them. For this hour in this space, you are in control, because it might be the only time in their whole life.
This is Grace's garden. Grace was a grandmother, and she passed away, and her family came up and wanted to make a garden to commemorate her, and we were all for the idea.